Hi. Okay. So we're all set to start our practice activity, drawing a sitemap. I've already taped down the 11 by 17 paper. I've squared it up on my table with my T-square. I've used 2 pieces of tape at the top corner to hold it down tight, and then I do another pieces and pull the paper tight so it sits flat on the table. I have my 8 scale ruler and a triangle, and I have an HB pencil. A lot of times I'll use a 4H for these because they make a little bit lighter line, but I don't think you'd be able to see with the camera very easy. So I'm going to use a little bit softer pencil in this case. So we have 11 by 17 paper for our exercise this time. And then we're going to go right to the property lines. And the property lines, north and south facing lines, are 62 feet long. It's very important to remember what lines we're talking about here. North and south facing would be the line up top and the line at the bottom because they face north and south, right? That are 62 feet long. So the north line on top and the south line at the bottom are 62 feet long. The east and west facing sides are 90 feet long, so they're going vertical. So we basically have a 62 by 90 foot rectangle on our property. Looking for that 8 scale line. I'm going to use my pre-marked up line, ruler here to check to find that. Now you can see that there's 8 feet at 1 inch, 40 feet at probably 5 inches, right? And we go way down here, 88, 89, 90. So there you can see 90 feet is there. And also you want to make sure when you use the rulers that you're starting at the 0. See how they have more lines going off to the left? Make sure that you use that first 0 line, otherwise you're going to be off by about a foot each time you make a measurement, and after a while that adds up, and that's kind of a mistake. Alright? Then we have 62 feet, and easily here's 60, 61, 62, so right there. We want to kind of figure out where this is going to be, so we want to center it on our paper so it's easy to work with. If it was really small and on bigger sheets of paper, you might put it to one side so you have room for other things, your plant list and such. So 62 feet, and this is how we can work that. I know that it's 62 feet across, and I want to center it here, so there's my 62 foot line right there. So I can anywhere on here, somewhat arbitrarily, but not. And then because I know it's going to fit because the whole ruler fits on here, right? And that's 90. So somewhere in the center here, I'm going to put that in here. And I'm just going to make one little line. Okay? Now I don't want to do the other one until I get my ruler involved here, or my T-square, to make sure that it's square. So we see where that lines up on 0, and then somewhere over here is going to be 62. Here we go, 61, 62, so right there. I make a line, and now I know between this line and that is 62 feet. There we go. Now we have our first line down for our first property line. Now, the other line going up is 90 feet. Double checking our work. Very good. 62. Then we're going to go up 90 feet on this one, and that's that mark right there. And go up to 0. Make another little line. Use our triangle and line it up. Not too far off. So we can see that I can see the line is right here that I made. Here's my dot right there. Let's see if you can see this with a H4. Now the proper property line symbol is a dash and 2 dots. So you have a line, 2 short lines, a line, 2 short lines, a line, 2 short lines, a line. There we go. And now we have our west property line at this point. And what do we have up here? We have our corner for our next one. But let's make sure we're all square. We're going to come over here and do our other vertical off of this point, right? And look what I can do with my H4 is I can just do a thin line, barely see it. You might not even be able to see it. And then I can use my T-square, and theoretically I should be able to run all the way across the page, all the way across, and line that up. And that's good. But you know what I want to do? I want to err on being a little bit too exacting, especially our first time through on this. So there's 0. And there's 90. Okay? Now I have those 2 points on here. I know that it's right vertical. Run my line across. Now I have all my borders done on here, my property lines. And as you can see, with the 4H, it's a little bit harder to see. I'm going to adjust the light here. Not sure if that's going to make it any better for you. But I'll go back to using the HB pencil on that. So that was our first part of this, just drawing the property lines, okay? 62 by 90 feet. We've got our square on here. The next one is to locate the building. The northeast corner, that's a point, is 12 feet from the east property line, okay? 12 feet from the east property line. We're facing north. This is east. Let's kind of keep this clear. This is west. And it's 40 feet from the north property line. So this is the property line. Let's just come down 40 feet using our 8th scale. Here, I'll turn around so you can see it a little better. We're going to run this up to 40. There we are. .40 right on the property line, and we're going to make a line at 0. Okay. Now we can move up our T-square up to that. Remember, we're using the 8th scale. Read the numbers on the top. And it says it's 12 feet from the east property line. And this is the northeast corner, so it's the upper right corner of the house. Is 12 feet. So if I put this line down here, put 0 on the line, 8 and 12 is right there. So I know that that's my northeast corner for my house. So now we use these instructions and we go and we put in all of these dots, right? These are points, and then draw lines between the points once we're done. So the northwest corner is still, right? It's the top of the house, 40 feet from the north property line, but this one is 15 feet from the west corner. The southeast corner is 12 feet from the property line on the east. And you can see how the numbers are just switched as we go to the different corners. But these are 24 feet from the south property line. So we're just measuring off the different property lines to get our house.